Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live episode of Press YYZ. I'm your host for tonight, Alexander Kazina. We are your favorite Canadian podcast, and we are coming to you live with episode 53. We have a bunch of cool stuff lined up for this week's episode, but a friendly reminder first off that Black Lives Matter and LGBTQ plus lives matter. You can watch the show weekly on youtube.com/PressYYZ, live on twitch.tv/PressYYZ every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, or you can listen to it on your own time on podcast services like iTunes, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. We appreciate however you choose to support the show, including subscribing to us on Twitch using that free sub that comes with Amazon Prime. But if you don't have any loonies or toonies to spare, it's all good. We'll be here no matter what. I'm joined this week by Mr. Mitch George.
Woohoo!
By one Nathan McInerney, our self-appointed head of HR.
Hello, how is everybody going?
By our film baby, although he's more like a film man at this point, given something that we may or may have not seen, Alex Ballant.
Hi, everybody. To the moon, boys! To the moon!
And finally, the man of many props, the thumbnail thespian, the inverted, the head in the clouds, the frightening AJ Fraser.
I have a belly button.
Wait,
Yeah.
you too?
I was not expecting that.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Unless you're a test tube baby.
Are you allowed to talk about belly buttons on Twitch? Is that like a banned topic?
I think you're not allowed to show them, but
right. Yeah, I don't know if
I can't wear my crop top.
No, sorry.
Damn, I was really hoping.
Let's not take that off the table. Nothing is off the table at this point. Let's be honest.
Yeah, we can switch to OnlyFans or Pornhub at any moment.
I want to start off this week's episode, Mitch, by ceding the floor over to you very briefly so that you can plug an upcoming charity stream you're going to be hosting.
It probably will be briefly because it also involves some folks around these parts, including in the Twitch chat. So this Saturday...
Well, here's the thing. If I didn't say briefly, you would talk for a full hour. So it's like...
Also very fair.
What's the name of the doctor from Futurama? Where he's like, every time he says "good news, everybody," it's the worst.
I'm Zoidberg.
Every time he says "good news, everybody," it's the worst news in the world. And then when he says "bad news," it's like, oh crap, there's some real shit. I have to, set the expectations properly so I can rein everyone in proportional to how much things go on for or how bad things can possibly be.
I do just before we get into that, I do have to correct. It was not Zoidberg. It's Professor Farnsworth. Please.
I was gonna say
I'd rather
Zoidberg didn't sound right, but I'm like I have to roll with it because you don't want to lose any momentum. Mitch, go ahead.
Well, we said a doctor, not a professor.
Mitch, go ahead.
You sure? Okay.
Mitch, go ahead.
So this weekend, Saturday, January 30th. I am turning 29 years old. Pause for joke. Yeah. We are all still stuck inside. There's nothing else we can really do with our times, which is why I've been streaming on Twitch a lot more than I have in the past. And I've decided to kind of use my birthday as an occasion to raise money for charity. So I've set up a campaign on Tiltify. We're going to be raising funds for Food Banks Canada. Where I think something like 97% of all funds raised will go towards the charity, which is a lot better than some of the other charities I looked into. But we're going to be live for 12 hours on Saturday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Kind of going to have 3-hour blocks. We're going to play more Digimon, which I'll talk about in a bit. I'm going to play... What else did I have on the books? At one point, Alex of Press YYZ and YYZ Video fame will be joining me and fellow YYZ video co-host TJ, and I'm going to play through the first few hours of the Gears 5 campaign for the first time.
Very excited about this.
I plan on starting Cyber Shadow tomorrow on stream, which we'll talk about in a bit because I know Nathan's played a bunch of it. So I'm either going to continue that if I like it on Saturday, or I'm going to play some Tony Hawk because I haven't really gotten into that. And that last chunk is either going to be me playing through a Pokemon mod, or if we can get enough people, Among Us, Jackbox, whatever the case might be. There are certain milestones where if they are met, I might have less hair. There are milestones where I might eat raw vegetables.
How much less hair are we talking about? Are we going full Tamago Sensei?
No.
Okay.
If we can double our initial goal, I will shave my beard on stream.
Oh, really?
Oh,
yes. But no, Ring Fit Adventure is involved in that. If we hit certain milestones, I will play a spooky game, which I hate spooky games. So I'll play RE7, which I've never played. So that would suck if we hit that. So please donate and make me do terrible things to myself.
You gonna play in
and then
VR?
No, because I don't want to throw up on stream. Yeah, actually, Phasma could work too for that multiplayer block. TJ, we'll see. He's just hanging out in our Twitch chat over twitch.tv/Press YYZ, just like you can if you want to catch the show live. What else?
Is this schedule posted anywhere that we can just look at?
No.
Or not yet?
I'm not that skilled. I'm going to put out a tweet with like the schedule and all that.
Yeah.
Once it's and like some of the punishments, so to speak. One of them is my wife gets to mess with me for 15 minutes if you donate a certain amount, and she's very looking forward to that. So I will make TikToks if certain amounts are donated at once.
Are you going to do all the TikTok dances?
I will do at least 3 TikTok dances if we get 3 $25 donations. So
I vote for the Pokemon main dance.
Am I allowed to donate each individual $25 myself? Because I want to see this happen. Okay,
yes,
perfect.
It all goes to charity. You can do that.
It's all going to charity. More details of that on my Twitter if you want to check that out. And yeah, it's going to be a ton of fun. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Cool. Seeing as how, I mean, you brought it up and we're currently on the discussion of what is going to be on your stream, I figure we might as well delve into Cyber Shadow. Nathan, this is a game that you have been playing, apparently. Is this in any way related to Cyberpunk 2077? Any relation?
It's actually the side game from Cyberpunk. No.
Oh.
It's not related at all, actually. So Cyberpunk or Cyber Shadow is from the studio, not from the studio. It's being published by Yacht Club Studios, who did Shovel Knight. It's a one-man team. I believe it's Mechanical Head Games.
That sounds right.
But it's a one-man team with somebody who helped with music that basically created this. Well, Shovel Knight's inspirations were obviously like DuckTales, Mega Man, Mario Brothers 3 when you're looking at the overworld. This is much more Ninja Gaiden inspired. So, but it feels a lot like Shovel Knight in terms of like things hidden all over the place. This follows a more Metroidvania approach where Shovel Knight was here's the levels, and you don't really have there's not a lot of need to go back to levels because of new abilities and stuff you've unlocked. But it's a really hard platformer, and that's what I think. When I was playing it, I was off put initially by how hard it was. So it took me a while to get good.
I've heard the comparisons drawn to Metroid. Do you feel like it's more in the vein of a traditional Metroidvania, like a Castlevania style game, or is it? Because I know the first thing you went to is Ninja Gaiden, and you can definitely see the visual inspiration coming from games like that. But does it play more like a Metroidvania?
I'd say it's like the map feels like a Metroidvania. You unlock powers almost like a Mega Man. It's not just bosses, but like typically after you beat a boss, you'll get a power, but it's like regular ninja moves. Like when you start, you literally can just jump and slash your sword. And then you get like a shuriken that you can throw out. You'll get like a flame up. You'll get a down charge, which you can use to get through obstacles on stages later. So like it's a bit of both. Like the map is definitely a Metroidvania setup, but it still feels more like a Ninja Gaiden. I don't want to say inspiration, but it reminds me a lot of The Messenger. Have you guys played The Messenger?
Played it, have not beaten it.
Yeah, I played a little bit of it. Yeah, I didn't get too far. A lot of people said, "Oh, you need to keep playing." I just didn't.
Okay. Yeah, The Messenger ended up being one of my favorite games. I still think The Messenger's a better game overall, because The Messenger does really something very cool after you get through the first set of levels that I don't want to spoil. But The Messenger would be in a top 10 game for me, period, because of how good it is and what it does and how funny it is. This is good. It tells a good story. It doesn't quite hit the peaks of The Messenger, But it's still a great 2D Metroidvania ninja game.
Sounds cool. I have no good transition to get into this, so I'm just going to straight up ask Alex, what in the world is this moon business all about? You guys all come in here, just like you're on a rodeo and you're spouting out random phrases. To the moon is coming up dozens of times. It's in the document. I have no clue what any of this is all about.
So, essentially, GameStop is booming. It's not dead, guys.
No, it's not. It's
Okay,
totally dead.
Okay, boomer.
Everybody, time out. Time out. Okay, so you remember how last week's episode, I'm like, hey, I'm instituting a new rule where you can only talk for 2 minutes about the financial prospects of Disney Plus. We have to institute a similar rule for talking about the EB game stuff, because I have a feeling that if we make one wrong turn, we could be spending a lot of time talking about this, and I personally, as a host, have little to no interest in talking about it. And as I'm the host, you all have to listen and adhere to whatever it is that I feel at any moment.
I think that's only because you didn't buy into it.
Yeah.
Like Alex.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have Robinhood downloaded on my phone, so who knows? Maybe if in an alternate
let
future,
me tell you,
I might have.
Robinhood not available in Canada.
In Canada, you're gonna want to look at something like Quest Trade.
I have like
or
a VPN.
Or direct trading through your bank. No, when you're linking to bank accounts and things, Cozy, you probably want to use something Canadian.
Yeah.
But okay, to very briefly explain, I won't go into all the details of like how this happened, but it's very fascinating to be reading about this, and also it's really kind of awesome that Reddit
also terrifying.
Yeah, but also kind of everyone who it's affecting negatively, fuck those people. So I'm kind of happy that it's happening. It is it's showing a very fundamental flaw in the whole economic structure that basically the world economy has.
Capitalism is flawed? You don't say.
No way. But
Holy
you know what?
shit.
Essentially, GameStop is exploding because a bunch of rich billionaires made a bad investment, and people on Reddit saw it, and they're like, fuck these people, let's take advantage of this and start making and like actually start basically stealing money from Wall Street. And it's awesome.
They made a not necessarily a bad investment. The trend was, hey, GameStop isn't GameStop. I almost said GameSpot. GameStop isn't doing well. We need to, do these fancy tricks or whatever to make the most we can out of it. It was at like $10 at one point, all the way down that low, and then I don't know, Alex, what's it up to now? Because you and the rest of Reddit got involved.
So I only have a single share, and I bought it at $100, like around 100, and now it's at $330. So I've made $200 so far.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and so right now,
ridiculous.
Yeah, and there's other companies that people are like, okay, now people now invest in AMC because AMC has seen a 200% increase.
It's funny you mention AMC and it's funny that Cozy mentions Robinhood. A friend of ours signed up for Robinhood, which is a service in the US where you can get a free stock, and they try to get you into personal stock trading, day trading kind of thing. The free stock he got like 6 months ago and was really pissed about. AMC. It was AMC. No. So he has AMC stock, and he has made money this week because of Reddit doing what Reddit does and fucking with rich billionaires.
Well, this is more of a 4chan move, but like 4chan will fuck with something and take it negatively. If there's posts in the Wall Street Bets subreddit where people are like, "Hey, you know what? Fuck these fat cats." Sitting at the top of Wall Street there. Let's take some of this money that we're making here and give some of it to charity, right?
Yeah. There's this really great tweet that has a compilation of 4 posts that have been screenshotted from the Wall Street Bets subreddit. And essentially it's like there's people who are like, they're paying for their undergrads because of the money that they've made. There's people who are donating to charities. There's medical bills that people are going to have to pay because we're still in a pandemic. Like there's a lot of good is coming from this while also exposing a major flaw. I'm very interested to see where this is going to continue to go. I do. There's okay. Trigger warning because there's a word that is not super great. But Jason Schreier has a great tweet about this, and I'm going to read it verbatim from him. A group of Redditors who refer to themselves as autistic retards have inflated the stock and struggling video game retailer so high that the White House had to assure reporters that the Treasury Secretary is keeping an eye on it. That is insane that Reddit did this, that the White House is actually stepping in to monitor the situation. Like, I can't believe that this is real. We're in a hell world. Nothing is real. Let's go to the moon, baby.
We thought 2020 was weird, but 2021 has started with Reddit deciding that GameStop is worth saving, which in and of itself is totally bonkers, but
you've got
whatever.
One more minute.
Okay. I think I'm done. All I can say is the stock market opens tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. and you can bet your ass I am investing in AMC.
But wait, hold on a second. So what exactly was the deal with the catchphrase "to the moon"? Is it like, oh man, I'm going to get so much money I can build?
It's shooting up so high that it's going to go to the moon. It's like
it's such a crazy spike that
real talk here.
Stock is up like 400% or something stupid like that.
Real talk here. It went from $2 to a share, $2 a share to now it's at $20, and that was over the course over a day.
I was genuinely pretty excited to find out what this "to the moon" stuff was when I saw it in the doc. Learning that it is just all the GameStop stuff is just like, ah, damn it.
I don't know about you,
Cozy,
but I'm very excited about this.
If you don't want to talk about GameStop going to the moon, what do you want to talk about?
Let's talk about Godzilla. Something I am actually excited about.
Hell yeah,
dude! That trailer. Yeah. Oh my god!
I mean,
so good.
I actually thought the trailer was whatever, but I'm still excited for the movie.
So okay,
have you seen the other ones?
I rewatched.
I've actually seen like a bunch of like Godzilla movies from both like the modern era and the past.
Okay. So in context of this, the ones that matter are Godzilla 2014 with Elizabeth Olsen, also known as Wanda.
Where she is married to the actor who played her brother in Age of Ultron, which is super weird.
Yep. But
Aaron
shit
Taylor Johnson.
But wait a minute, didn't that movie come out before Age of Ultron?
Yes, but they were announced as it did. It came out in 2014, and Ultron was 2015.
I was going to say, I feel like Age of Ultron is the movie that makes it weird, not Godzilla. Anyways,
well, they were already announced as the Maximoff twins before that.
Yeah, there was I saw a good interview where she kind of explains how that happened with the audition process. But so Godzilla 2014. That one matters. Kong Skull Island, which came out in 2017. That one matters. And then Godzilla King of the Monsters, which came out in 2019, also matters.
Yes.
And I watched...
actually, today, Legendary announced that they're working to develop a Netflix animated series in this monster universe. So there will also be an animated Netflix show that will exist in this same universe as Godzilla versus Kong, and my mind is just blown.
Has anybody here seen the original King Kong versus Godzilla movie from 1962?
No.
I've seen screenshots. I've seen clips from it.
I've seen Godzilla 2000.
I've not seen the 1962 movie. I feel like we as a group, maybe on the Press YYZ Discord server, need to watch it sometime, because I think that would be a good time.
I wouldn't call myself an apologist for it, but I was like 10 when the Matthew Broderick Godzilla came out, and I really enjoyed it at the time. But yeah, the whole monster movie trope, like giant monster kaiju battle, Muto fight thing, it's kind of obvious where what its purpose is, and like it's just there to be a good summer blockbuster or whatever. But the new trailer for the new movie Godzilla vs. Kong, the movie comes out in mid-March, I think.
It'll be coming day and day to theaters and HBO Max, which we don't have in Canada. So it'll probably go the Wonder Woman route. Or it'll be a premium rental on your VOD service of choice, like iTunes or Google Play or what have you.
Yeah, I on the weekend I watched Godzilla 2014. That movie still holds up, still really good. And then yesterday, after dinner, I decided I didn't want to sit in front of the computer, and I just sat myself in front of the TV and I watched both Kong Skull Island and the King of the Monsters, and they're both fine. Kong Skull Island is weird because it's kind of like the Avengers cast in there with Brie Larson,
Tom Hiddleston,
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah, that was a little weird, but other than that,
also
so I think
guy who.
Sorry,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think. Go.
Internet podcast.
Just as a quick aside, the guy who directed Kong Skull Island doing Metal Gear movie. Very excited to see what he does. He's also in Death Stranding.
Of course he is, because everyone's in Death Stranding. No, I was just gonna say, I think for Canadians, Kong Skull Island doesn't stream anywhere, so you might have to rent that. But I think Godzilla King of Monsters is on Crave, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
it is.
So we're probably gonna. I want to watch
2014. Godzilla 2014 is on Netflix.
Oh, that's good to know too, because I kind of want to watch them all leading up to eventually renting this, or
Yeah, they definitely
VPNs exist, and so do HBO Max accounts. I'm just saying.
The 2014 kind of took itself seriously in a way that I really appreciated, and then they kind of let go of that in the other two movies, and just sort of like, no, we're just gonna watch. Just going to pay a lot of money to the animation budget, and you're just going to watch shit go down.
See, I actually will prefer that, because I didn't like how the 2014 Godzilla was paced. I felt like it focused too much on Bryan Cranston and was it Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Didn't focus enough on Bryan Cranston. They killed him right at the, I guess, spoilers.
Third.
I just don't like.
He's not in the third one, that's for sure.
The trailer for I remember the trailer for the 2014 movie really emphasized Bryan Cranston's involvement, and he played such a minor.
Then they Game of Thrones us.
Well, that was at the height of Breaking Bad too, wasn't it? Or
but it was still
the height of Bryan Cranston.
Yeah, it was deceptive for sure, though, which I was very disappointed with, and that's why that movie just kind of always has like this bad taste in my mouth of what could have been basically Walter White versus Godzilla, and it wasn't that, and I guess I was pretty disappointed by that.
Did any of you watch the Shin Godzilla movie, the movie by the director of Evangelion?
I think I did see that at one point, but I don't remember it. I think I did see it though.
I saw that on the plane when I went to Japan in 2016. I don't really know how I think about it. It is very long and very dry, with its few scenes of action being very impactful, but being very kind of few and far between.
Yeah.
I would not recommend that we watch that one as a rewatch again. I think the original King Kong versus Godzilla movie is a much better candidate. I'm also going to recommend the 2005 movie Godzilla Final Wars, which is the last movie that Japan made before going on hiatus until the 2014 Godzilla movie, and then the Evangelion director one.
If we were smarter, we would have started YYZ video with the legendary monster universe in review, because it probably would have sunk up really well with that movie coming out. That being said,
wait.
Sorry, go ahead.
I don't dislike that idea, but what exactly would that be?
It would be Godzilla 2014, Kong Skull Island, Godzilla King of Monsters, and Godzilla versus Kong.
I mean,
maybe we'll do that at a later date. But you can catch a new episode of YYZ video this week on the YouTube channel, where we will review and rank A Bug's Life.
In my brain, I was under the impression that the monster universe you're referring to is much bigger than what it actually is, but I was mistaken.
Nope.
When is YYZ video reviewing the To All the Boys I've Loved movies?
Karma wants to do that after we do this series. So To All the Boys I Loved Before in review. Karm, you're in for that? Right? To All the Boys. Yeah, I'm getting nods from over there. So it'll happen for sure. I will not be on it.
What?
So, whether or not Godzilla versus King Kong is good or bad, I personally, despite not being flattered by the trailer, I personally think that it's going to be a good, fun romp. There's no doubt that the two are going to have themselves a nice little melee. Speaking of which, AJ, you've been dabbling in a certain Super Smash Bros. Melee as of late?
Yeah, I was slightly inspired by getting my Nintendo Wii set up on my desk here and stuff like that. I decided to kind of go back and try and I've played like over like close to 150 hours of the Smash Ultimate on the Switch. And I haven't played Smash Melee in a very long time, and so I put it in and I started playing it, and I think I've been spoiled by how good control has gotten over the last 20 years. Because trying to play Smash Melee is I'm trying like characters that I am familiar with in Ultimate now. I'm having a hard time translating it backwards into the older game. I feel like you could do it. I should test it. I feel like you could do it to the Smash on the Wii. Brawl?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like you could do it there.
I mean, so I'm not somebody who's particularly partial towards Melee. I don't know if the Brawl thing would work, though, because if I recall correctly, with Super Smash Bros. For Wii U 3DS, one of the big changes that they announced with that game is, hey, we're going to be speeding it up a little bit and try and strike a compromise between the more slow, methodical nature of Brawl and the kind of speediness of Melee. And I'd imagine that, like, I've not like done in-depth research into this, that the Switch version would be in a similar vein.
The Switch one feels definitely, to my recent memory, feels a lot like the Wii U one, like a good continuation from that. But yeah, going back to Melee, it's like, I don't know. I can understand I can understand the people who have stuck with it for so long, and that is like their game, how they would continue to think it's great. Trying to go backwards and like just kind of relive my 11-year-old self and what I remember of it, it's kind of rough in my opinion. It's kind of rough. So and that's like, and I've got like a legit version, not like a emulated copy or anything like that. So maybe some of the streams we're seeing are like emulated versions that have been sped up to feel a little different. Because I know there's that Project M or whatever that's
so
out
that was
there.
A mod for Brawl.
Anything like that. So, I think it still can hold up. I don't know if it, in any official capacity, does, but it's interesting to kind of take a look back at that for sure.
Yeah, I think I want to kind of tread carefully because I know that Melee has a very kind of passionate fan base, but I think that sometimes when you get so invested in a game, particularly a competitive one, you can become kind of immune or kind of ambivalent to the ways where it's not as polished or as satisfying as it could be. And again, like, total respect to the people that play Super Smash Bros. Melee competitively. Like, some of those Evo tournaments are a real hoot to watch. But like, I think that we oftentimes kind of disregard or don't really kind of praise a lot of the kind of changes and just tiny little incremental refinements that some of the latter Smash Bros. Games have made over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
I need to interject with one thing.
I
don't own a single 4K Blu-ray because I do not own a 4K Blu-ray player. But for my birthday, I saw that one of my favorite movies of all time was on sale on Amazon in 4K Blu-ray, and I do not own a physical copy. That is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I bought this a few days ago, and it is now lost in transit.
You have a PS5.
Oh no.
Yeah.
But is
that not a 4K
digital
Blu-ray player?
All digital, baby.
Oh, that'll do it.
It will.
Yeah.
Please continue.
Speaking of, sorry, did you have something more you want to say, AJ?
Nope, I'm good.
Cool. Speaking of highly competitive experiences, Alex, you have been playing a certain League of Legends game.
I'm back in it. back in it. This was a game that I played extensively from 2013 to 2017. That was like. Mm-hmm.
I remember you talking about League of Legends in the past on this podcast. Did you pick it up at any point while we were recording the podcast together, or am I misremembering a misremembery?
I've talked about it before because it is a game that I put an extensive amount of time in during my formative years. But no, this is like every few like months or so I try it again. I'm like, maybe I can get a chance to relive some of those real good memories. And then I play like 1 or 2 matches. I'm like, this fucking sucks. I remember why I quit. I hate this. The community sucks, and I don't like playing this game. And that happens every few months. And back in January, or I guess it would have been like late December, early January, so like a few weeks ago, I decided I'm going to try League again because I was browsing the subreddit and I'm like, man, this game looks. I remember all the good times. And I was like, I'll probably play it for 1 or 2 matches and then I'll be done. That was like 4 weeks ago. So I'm still playing it, and I'm having a good time with it. I'm not really taking it all that seriously. But it's a good game at its core that gets ruined by shitty people who play it. And that's, for the most part, that's kind of all all I can really say about it. Is it's just been something I've been having a lot of fun with in the background, especially. I've been trying to catch up on like podcasts and videos and stuff, and so it's a real easy game to just throw something on and not have to be paying attention, because if I'm playing anything else, I feel I need to have this obligation to be fully invested in everything that's going on, and so listening to anything else is just kind of a no. But with this, it's just a real good excuse to be able to be like, I just want to listen to this podcast, I'm going to play League.
Do you feel like Mitch, we don't want. Is this about another Blu-ray?
No, it's not about another Blu-ray.
All right, go for it. What is
Speaking of invested, I know we've talked in the past that you spent a lot of money on this game originally. Please tell me you haven't spent anything yet.
Nope, not yet.
Okay.
Really, like,
okay. You know what, Mitch?
Yeah,
I'm still kind of
peeved. Not gonna happen.
I'm still kind of peeved earlier about you bringing up that Blu-ray, Mitch. But that was a very important question, and I do want to let you know that I recognize that.
Well, thank you.
You got the seal of approval.
So, you say, Alex, that you find League of Legends to be a game that you enjoy playing because it's just something you can play kind of casually in the background. You don't have to focus too intently on it. You can do a little bit of housekeeping while you're smashing heads and doing whatever it is that you do in League of Legends.
While I'm getting to Challenger, yeah.
Do you feel the same way about some of the Resident Evil games you've been playing as of late?
Well, Resident Evil is one that you definitely should be paying attention to. But yeah, I decided, because of the whole big showcase that happened the day after we finished recording last week, I was very intrigued by what they showed off of Resident Evil Village, and with the PS5 exclusive demo, the Maiden demo, I decided to download that and give it a shot. And that it's a very, very, very short demo. And it's mostly just a kind of shows off the atmosphere and the environment that you're going to be in. And it's really cool. I'm really excited. As somebody who's kind of on-off Resident Evil, I haven't played, some of the new ones. My favorite, the one game in the series that I really invested myself in is 4, and that's kind of it. I am really interested in what they're doing with Village. It's apparently got a lot of the Resident Evil 4 vibes to it. The fact that it's called Village is one thing in particular. And this demo was for one, it looks beautiful on PS5. It runs at 60 FPS with ray tracing. It's a real good showcase. I would suggest, if you have a PS5, play it, unless you're, I guess, scared of horror games. But
hey,
even
that's
then,
me.
Yeah, I still think it's really cool, and vampires are a really interesting new direction for Resident Evil. I really like this idea of let's kind of, with 7, they decided hey, let's take the kind of Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibes and let's put that into Resident Evil. And now it seems like they're going full gothic horror with the vampires and werewolves, and it's gonna be really interesting to see how far they push that, and I think it's a really cool direction. While then you have like the remakes that they've been doing recently that kind of fulfills like more traditional Resident Evil.
So are we kind of seeing here that zombies are like yesterday's news, and Konami doesn't know what the fuck they're doing when it comes to Castlevania? Somebody be like, no, we're the Castlevania now.
Yeah, it really feels like they've kind of blended Castlevania and Silent Hill into Resident Evil, and I don't think that that's a bad thing. I'm really glad that they are still sticking with the first person perspective as well, because though I think 2 is another one that I played a good amount but I never actually finished. I really do like the first person aesthetic to it, and I think it does add an extra element of horror. I mean, even though I had watched extensive Let's Plays on 7, I decided to pick up 7 as well because I want to try and actually finish it before Village comes out. And 7 is fucking terrifying.
Village is out in May, right?
Yeah. So I wanted to get 7 out of the way early because right now I'm not really playing anything, and the next game that's like really like this is the next game I'm going to be playing on my docket is going to be Persona Strikers. So I've got a month before that comes out, so I might as well just get 7 out of the way because I know it's not a super long experience, but I mean, it's very nice, and I'm interested to see how they take it with Village. And also that tall lady, she does things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Seeing her in 4K.
I'm actually more into the other girls there personally, but hey.
Are you really?
Everybody. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Are you
Y'all
really?
are weirdos.
Were you? I'm
Curious,
curious, Alex.
Point for that.
Oh
Alex,
yeah.
I'm curious. Were you as scared playing Resident Evil 7 as you were when you premiered Access Granted to us?
No, that was way more terrifying. So I did something over the weekend. On Saturday, one Mark Freeman hosts the Kind of Funny community Zoom call, and I thought that was going to be a perfect time to premiere for the very, very first time the documentary that I spent my entire life for the last 4 months making, around friend of the show Steve Saylor, Access Granted, and it was shown to an audience of 30 people or so. I think that was how many. Yeah, it was around that. Yeah, and it was horrifying. I was filled with anxiety for the whole day, but it went really, really well, and the most important thing was that Steve really enjoyed it. I know it went over well with everyone, but it was really, really, really important for me to do justice by Steve. And I mean, he himself said that I did, so that was like the ultimate gratification.
I downloaded Zoom for the first time on any device I own just so I could be there to see it.
How do you get to 2021 without having Zoom?
I'm using Discord. I don't talk to anybody else.
Your family uses Discord?
No.
Oh, so you just don't talk to your family?
No, I just
no.
Okay. I do video calls and Facebook Messenger, but that's it with specific
Facebook
people.
Messenger probably.
Yeah.
I cried at the doc just for what it's worth.
Which, like everyone gave such wonderful words, and it was really cool. It was a surreal experience that I don't know if I've ever felt before, getting to watch something that I was heavily a part of be shown in front of an actual audience. And, all I'm saying is Ant, our friend of this show, Ant Gore, he said he was proud of me. So, I mean, I don't
he doesn't say that much. He's a bit of an asshole. So
yeah, I know. That's why I was surprised. But yeah, and for anyone who might be listening to this who unfortunately didn't get to be there, if you want to reach out to me, I would be more than happy to, find a way to show this to you, because I do, I'm very proud of it, and so I do I would love to show it off.
I know we didn't get the. Sorry, go ahead, AJ.
No, I was just gonna say it's also less than 10 minutes long, right? Because you have that restriction, so it's a quick thing. It's
very digestible. It's not a huge time investment for anyone who wants to actually watch it, but it's very cool. It's I'm very proud of the work that we did, and I don't really say that all that often with things that I'm a part of.
Especially this.
When can people expect to be able to view access granted? When can they be able to access granted without any kind of restrictions or kind of like under the table link sharing? Because right now you can't.
Granted.
Yeah, right now you can't share this movie out in the open because of certain restrictions with regards to a Toronto Film Festival, as I understand it.
Yeah, there's a lot of festivals that do kind of have like this restriction of like this can't be posted anywhere else. It can't be posted publicly because this is like supposed to be like it's supposed to be distributed through like us for the very first time. So it's something we want to be very careful about. I'm hoping it will be sooner, but I can't give a realistic timeline, so I wouldn't want to say when it can be expected.
I do want to say.
I do hope.
Sorry. No, sorry.
Oh, just I do hope that it will be available because I do think it's very poignant, and I think it's only going to become more and more relevant. And like I would very much like as many people to see it because I think it really puts. I think more than anything, Steve Saylor is like the best person to kind of put a face towards why accessibility matters so much, and I think that it needs to be seen by people, just to kind of put a face to it and understand the importance of why something so little can have such a huge impact on people. And so I hope it'll be sooner rather than later.
I just want to say I know we didn't get the exclusive premiere rights, and that hurts a bit, but it's fine. But we do have a Discord, invite.gg/Press YYZ. If anyone wants to hop in there, we can definitely hook up, a private viewing through Discord or something along those lines if the need presents itself. So that might be a good venue to,
we'll place you alone. We'll place you alone in a room alone with the movie, and you can enjoy it all by yourself without anybody watching.
I'll be watching.
Mitch.
Yes, sir.
You've been playing some more Digimons, correct?
Guys, I can't stop playing this game. It's kind of consumed my life. I talked that over the holidays I watched all of Digimon Try, as well as the film that came out kind of related to that, and never had I finished any of the Cyber Sleuth games, so I decided, hey, I need something to get me through this early year void where new stuff isn't really coming out. And going back to Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory is what's done it for me. I am so into this game. I don't know. It must be the similarities to Pokemon or something along those lines because I cannot put this thing down.
I tuned into one of your streams for like 30 seconds and it was just like, this is some weird knockoff Pokemon bullshit. I'm out of here.
Well, thanks for one.
You're welcome.
It's better than Pokemon.
It's not better than Pokemon, but it's real good.
It's Persona meets Pokemon.
Okay, I'm out.
Yeah, Alex, it's Persona.
Yeah, you
with terrible storytelling.
Okay, I'm lost again. I'm gone.
There was a main story mission where you are with another member of your hacker group, and he's trying to teach you how to pick up chicks in the cringiest way I've ever seen. And in the cringiest way I've ever seen in a video game my entire life. Like I visibly cringed on stream, but I'm loving the mechanics because it's a little more involved than something like a Pokemon because there are certain statistics you can only raise in your Digimon by digivolving, then de-digivolving and getting to a higher level the next time before digivolving. So there's this whole forward and back thing you do have to balance. It's really good. It's really good.
You've also been playing WWE 2K Battlegrounds, which
this is
I know something about Digimon. I don't really know anything about this one, but
so this was 2K's sort of filler game for 2020 because they didn't come out with a proper WWE 2K sim game. It's very arcadey. It's very reminiscent of like older arcade beat 'em up wrestling style games, if that makes sense, like old like WrestleMania games and things like that. It was free on Stadia last weekend. You could play the entire game for free the entire weekend. And me and a few of our friends in the Press YYZ community said, screw it. for, I think it was $25 for the base game or $30 for the deluxe edition. We'll pick this up and we'll play it together, and it'll be a hoot when we do. And it's not a good game, but it's dumb fun to play with friends, which is kind of what I was looking for. So I'm looking forward to finishing the campaign mode, and the monetization in it kind of sucks. In terms of how long it takes.
It's a
to
DLC
characters.
fest, right?
It's not that it's a DLC fest; it's that everything costs in-game currency, and the grind to earn said in-game currency, it's a little too steep, in my opinion. Like we played for 3 or 4 hours, I want to say, on and off on the weekend, and I had maybe like 7,000 fun bucks or whatever they want to call them. And you can unlock characters at 3,000, 6,000, 9,000, and 12,000. But the characters you want to unlock are all 12,000. The Rock, Stone Cold, Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins. So if you
they don't just have the Rock available off the start. You have to buy him.
Yep. The initial roster, very small, but the roster with all the characters you can unlock, very large. So it very much is a pick and choose situation. I think I'm at the point where I probably want to unlock someone like Jeff Hardy, because I really like Jeff Hardy growing up. So it can be dumb fun for a while. I don't know how much more I'm going to play, but the fact that it's on Stadia makes it very easy for me if I have a break between meetings, or Carmen's using the desk for one thing or another, or we're out and I have my iPad and my controller, then I might boot it up just for some dumb fun.
Neat. Alex seems to have grown pretty disinterested in this conversation, so I'll disinterest him further by bringing up that I finally gotten around to platinuming Kingdom Hearts RE Chain of Memories. I actually want to say right here, right now, that I actually don't know if it's pronounced RE or just Re Chain of Memories, like as in like Remind, or like maybe it's Ray, like the musical note. Anyways,
Wait,
that was a good time.
Resident Evil?
I say Re.
Yeah, we are.
Personally.
I platinumed it. I platinumed Re. I also, so immediately after I platinumed that game, I'm like, you know what? I want a palate cleanser. I want to get some cheap, dirty platinums under my belt. So I went and platinumed Chickens on the Road and Road Bustle, which are two games that were recently made popular on the Twitterverse by one Greg Miller. Chickens on the Road, you're basically like driving over chickens in a car. And the description for the game on the PlayStation Store is the chickens have escaped the pen, period. Road Bustle, on the other hand, doesn't even have a description on the PlayStation Store. It's basically Frogger, but you're a man. So I guess an alternate name for this game could be Manor. And you can actually beat the game. So like you get trophies in the game by advancing a certain number of meters. But if you just walk backwards and then you walk forwards, that actually increases your meter score without you ever needing to go on the road. So it's pretty easy however you slice it. In addition to that, though, I also started up a little game by the name of Knack, which I'd previously started a couple of weeks ago, and then when I got around to Re, I basically kind of dropped off of. I'm now at like chapter 8.2, not that it matters. I actually want to cede the floor briefly to you, Nathan, partially because we've not given you a lot to talk about over the past few minutes, but also because last time I talked about Knack, you mentioned, oh yeah, I can talk a little bit about Knack, but I feel like I didn't really give you much of an opportunity to kind of speak your heart out. So now's your time here and now to say everything that you want to say about Knack, Nathan.
Okay. Well, wow, the floor's been ceded to me. I appreciate that. Knack is a good game. People give it shit. It is not a bad game. Is it a great game? No, but it's a good game. I enjoyed the first Knack. It's been many, many years since I've played it, but it is good. It is better than a lot of people compare it to Crash Bandicoot. It is better than any Crash Bandicoot game.
Do you include the Crash Bandicoot that came out after Knack's release? Like the fourth one?
I've not played the fourth one. For the record, I don't think any Crash Bandicoot games are good, although I've not played 4. So...
I'll say this. I agree with you, Nathan. It's not a bad game, but I do have some thoughts on it, but I think I'm going to wait until I get to the end of it. In a weird way, I'm actually almost more interested in playing Knack 2 when I'm done with this game than I am continuing to play this game, because, and this is super weird, but like, I know literally nothing about Knack 2. like going into NAC, I remembered a lot of the previews of this game and lead up to its release back in 2013. I, had seen like reviews of it that showed footage from the game. I knew the basic kind of core concept. Literally, the only thing I know about NAC 2 is what its box art looks like. And its box art basically yields no information about what is actually in the game. So I'm definitely looking to checking out the sequel that could at some point in the future. But unfortunately, it's going to probably...
in it.
Oh, really?
And there's a red and a blue NAC.
Is it online co-op?
I think so.
Nathan, don't spoil anything else. I'll ask you more details on the co-op stuff as I get closer to me actually playing it. But for now, I want to be as unspoiled as possible, because in this day and age, it is impossible to be not spoiled about whatever game you're about to play. And this is the one chance that I have to actually go into something fresh and with a complete blank slate.
All right.
Cool. With that out of the way, I think that we're just about ready to get onto our tots. But is there anything else that we want to touch on briefly before we do so?
Read/watch all the things. PlayStation Plus games for February were announced, and they're friggin' amazing. I am out.
Yeah, it's a pretty good month. It's a pretty good month.
Is this the best month ever?
No.
No,
I don't know.
but it's definitely.
There was a month we got Resogun, and Resogun's one of the best arcade games of all time. So
there was a month with Bloodborne and Ratchet and Clank.
That was
better.
That was a pretty solid month. This is definitely up there.
We're getting the debut of Destruction All-Stars, which we already knew was coming day and date to PlayStation Plus. We don't have a release date yet, so the game will actually be available for February for whenever it does launch, and all of March as well, which is nice. We're also getting the Ultimate Edition of Control, which will come with the PlayStation 5 upgrade, which also launches on February 2nd. Which isn't out till March, apparently. I thought it was February 2nd. I read February 2nd earlier, but I could be wrong.
Somebody was saying you can play the PS4 version, but the PS5 upgrade for Control won't be available to March. Let me confirm that.
And then the third game was Concrete Genie, which
fantastic game
is something it's been sitting in my backlog forever, and I feel like I do need to get to it.
Yeah, I do think that this is kind of also huge just for a different reason, because Game Pass had Control come to it a little while ago, and it just came to Game Pass on PC as well. But it's only the base game for Control, where this is the full on all the DLC version, like the Ultimate Edition, I think is what it's called. Which I think is a big deal and kind of is in a lot of ways one-upping Microsoft, which I can't complain about. But I'm
seeing articles from Game Rant and from Engadget saying February 2nd for the PS5 version of Control Ultimate Edition. So, could be basically day and date, which would be crazy. Because I remember last year we all got really upset when they announced the Control Ultimate Edition was going to require a paid upgrade. Basically, if you had the PS4 version, there was no free path to the PS5 version, or you'd have to basically buy the game a second time. There was no upgrade option either. So this is a nice alternative of, just put it on PlayStation Plus. Why not? It's a great game. Anyone who is not needs to play it.
By all means.
Yeah, for sure. Control is one of my favorite games from last year, or 2019. It's wonderful. It's weird. And I'm super excited to go through the Alan Wake stuff.
I'm looking forward to trying it, because I'm
looking forward to
it the first time.
It's so damn good. I would honestly, Nathan, if you were looking for something to stream here on Press YYZ, even if you had to do it from the console, that'd be a great game to stream. It is so dang good.
I also gotta say, this I'm very envious of you that this is gonna be your first experience, because playing it on PS4, it was rough, because
that was a slog for sure.
That game was not intended to be on that
It pushed that hardware. Even on the PS4 Pro, it was pushing it. Have you played the DLC at all, Alex?
No, I haven't.
I'm planning on using this as an excuse to play the game again and play all the DLC, and I'm so excited.
Me too. And just I know
you have to play it all.
Yeah, I'm very excited to get to experience that game again.
Also, as a podcast crew, we should plan a Destruction All-Stars stream. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
I probably won't play it. I wouldn't play it.
I don't have a PS5.
The four of us with AJ showcasting should plan a Destruction All-Stars stream.
Yeah, AJ.
Sorry,
this is
AJ.
a perfect game for showcasting.
when I first saw the list and everything, I saw Destruction All Stars and thought it was going to be a PlayStation All Stars. So
that would have been smart if they'd used this as like an all-star derby of PlayStation characters.
So there will be. Did anybody watch that State of Play that got posted?
I need to watch it still.
On it. Okay, it's pretty good actually, but it does say there will be new characters coming, and it's a missed opportunity if we don't get Kratos or Sweet Tooth, Aloy or Nathan Drake.
They've been good about tying their properties together. When you look at the skins they released for Ghost of Tsushima, Fortnite. So I think we'll totally get it.
Oh yes. Yeah, so I think it's a no-brainer, and I think those will come. I think they just want to start with their own cast. I also thought it was funny that there's a character named PETA, who I think it's PYTA. I have to go back and look at the spelling, but she's wearing a giant wolf's head on her head.
Oh, God. PETA's going to have a field day with PETA. But yeah, like this is one that was not on my radar when it was announced. And then when it got delayed from launch and said it was coming day and date to PlayStation Plus, I said, I will play that with my friends. And I think even if the game isn't, a 9 out of 10, I think there's enough people hanging out around the Press YYZ Discord that we could get a crew together that want to run through that game. Because we've played other bad multiplayer games together, like Predator.
Yeah.
Oh, and Remedy's Twitter does say February 2nd for Control.
There you go. Breaking news that broke 2 months ago for you right here, right now.
We did it.
Hell yeah. All right. Anything else that we want to... Thank you, Mitch. Anything else that we want to bring up before we go into topic of the show?
I just want to point out that I've been watching the pricing of Persona 2 and Persona 1 for the Vita digitally. And for whatever reason today, there was a $6 increase on Persona 2 for the PSP. And
that doesn't make any sense.
There hasn't been a sale since 2017, but today it had a $6 increase.
Maybe it was like maybe it was a price adjustment because of the dollar or something. They were adjusting prices of things in the Vita store to match the current Canadian dollar or something.
I don't know. I just thought that was funny. I was like, oh, I should check the pricing on that. And nope, it is now $6 more than I wanted to pay. So anyways, let's move on.
Wunderbar.
Right then. Ladies and gentlemen, last week we collaboratively debated amongst ourselves what are the best games to introduce gaming to children. This week, we're returning to Rankem for a game of the best video game mounts. These are the best video game characters that you can ride around on that specifically are biological in nature. So vehicles or mechanisms that are entirely mechanical, such as warthogs, jeeps, motorcycles, are not allowed for the purposes of this competition. We're going to be doing 3 different rounds. In the first round, I'm going to be going host by host, asking them for a pick, and I'm going to be deciding, based on those picks, where they are going to rank in relation to everyone else's pick. In the second round, I'm going to ask each host once to make an argument for why they believe one of their picks was unfairly ranked and what pick another host picked it should go in front of. And then the third round, I'm going to be asking people to pick from a collection of random numbers, and based on their selection, making them argue for a couple of mounts that I have under my belt.
Oh boy.
Are we all ready?
No.
Ready as I'll ever be.
Oh,
I like hosting this. I don't like playing this.
Well, if you sound... I think I'm going to have to pick you, Mitch. Go for it.
Ha! It worked! I wanted to go first because I didn't want anyone else to take my first pick. It's Yoshi. He's the best video game mount ever. You cannot argue otherwise.
No. Really?
Yes. Yoshi is one of the most
Hold on.
iconic characters in...
Our game's supposed to argue in other
Mitch, I know that I'm supposed to let you speak right here and right now and make your case for Yoshi, but it's like, I thought you were going to come out from behind with a real, like, unusual, underground, but impressive pick. The fact that you just chose Yoshi as your first pick is, I'm sorry, sir, but it is in poor form. Poor form.
I know, but I'm trying to win, so it's fine.
Number 10.
No, because it is totally legitimate and within the rules laid out at the beginning, it has to go.
Let him make his argument.
I have crazy picks coming from behind, trust me. But no, I think Yoshi is one of the most iconic characters in all of video games, and a lot of people don't may or may not remember that he started out as a mount for Mario in the SNES Super Mario World game, which is a fantastic game, and continued to be a mount for Mario throughout the years. You look at games like Yoshi's Island, where he had Baby Mario he had to escort through. You look at games like even all the way up to things like New Super Mario Brothers U or New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe on the Switch. Yoshi as a mount has been iconic gameplay mechanics for Mario for 20 plus years at this point. And there's a reason why, because it's fun to ride on Yoshi. It changes the mechanics of the movement, which you would expect from a mount. It provides additional gameplay functionality with the tongue mechanics and, eating shells and spitting out fireballs for some reason, because that's how shells work. But it cannot be argued how important Yoshi as a mount is to video game culture and video game history, and it's why Yoshi is the best mount ever.
Okay, well, like I said, it's going to go at number 1 for now, but we'll see how long it's going to remain in that spot. Nathan,
I'm number 1.
What's your pick?
I'm number 1.
I'm going to go with something from Everybody's Golf.
Okay.
So initially I was going to go with a golf cart, but then we decided that this had to be a living thing.
Right.
So instead, I'm going to go with the special DLC Chocobo that you could download for the Final Fantasy anniversary that was available that actually lets you fly around the golf course.
Oh, interesting. Very interesting.
Wow.
Do you have any more arguments to make with regards to the Chocobo, or is that it?
Yeah, it's a really cool Chocobo. When you think about games with mounts, you don't think about golf games, and the Chocobo actually really lets you fly around the open golf course. Really cool, and allows you to access some areas which you couldn't access before easily. So it's just a really neat little thing, and instead of just driving around like you're used to driving, this is like a little fluttering thing that flutters you around and can fly around the course. So
it's not even the best use of a Chocobo in games.
I want to get the Chocobo in a weird game before somebody said Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mitch, but I have to give Nathan bonus points here for coming up with something I was not at all anticipating. This is actually, I believe that you talked about this DLC on a previous episode of the show.
All he does is talk about this damn golf game.
But the fact that I had completely forgotten about it and was not at all expecting it, I think it speaks to Nathan's stealthiness and charisma. So I'm afraid, Mitch, that Yoshi is going to have to slide down to number 2.
That makes 0 sense. I hate this game.
Now you know how it feels, eh?
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, we're off to a great start, Cozy. I really appreciate what you're doing, and I think you're doing a great job hosting.
Why, thank you. For saying that, Alex, you get to go next.
Okay. Question: How do you feel about spoilers for Red Dead Redemption 2?
Bye.
Go for it.
Is this a game you're ever going to play? Okay.
No.
I think you've given enough warning.
Yeah, this is okay. Spoilers for Red Dead Redemption 2. Anybody? It's the horse from Red Dead Redemption 2. It doesn't have a name because you get to name it, which is very cool. As well, just over the course of the game, you taking care of it will increase its stats. It'll get faster. It'll be able to maneuver better. You'll be able to drift with your horse. It's very, very cool that they put, because in the first game there was less of an emphasis on the specific horse that you're using, where then 2 they made it so that like the horse is always the same and it like improves with you and gets better with you. And throughout the course of Arthur's journey, you really get attached to this horse that you have, and you can completely customize the look of it, which I think is really great. And it just is so important to the story being told that when, spoilers, Arthur meets his end, so does the horse, but he gets a moment with the horse before it dies where he's like,
Spoilers,
I'm sorry, and
bro.
like I warned you, and I know none of you are going to play this game through, and it's also like 25 hours into the game as well, which I guess
I'm never going to play that much of that game, even if I do start it. We all know how I play games.
Yeah, I know. So that's why I wasn't afraid of spoiling it. But like Arthur has this really sweet moment with this horse that he's been going through this complete redemption arc with, and it's just this really touching moment that he has with the horse when it meets its end. And I think it made me cry to a horse in a game because you bond with it throughout the course of the gameplay. And I think it really blends the storytelling, like the expert storytelling of Red Dead Redemption 2, along with the gameplay to create this super impactful moment that is like, it's a slew of impactful moments, but for me, it's one of the ones that stands out the most. And also, if you have a dude horse, if you have a boy horse in the game, it has testicles that freeze during when it's cold out. So you can't not acknowledge that too.
Does this specific horse have a name? Is it like Roach in the Witcher series, where there are multiple horses, but they're all given the same name?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it
No. So
whatever you want?
it can be whatever you want. You get to
What was
specifically
your
name it.
horse's name, Alex?
So I had two. I can't remember what the first one was, but that one got hit by a train
Oh, yeah.
when I was fucking around with it. And so I got really sad, and so I named it horse number 2 for my second horse. And but like the first horse died very, very early, so I was like, oh fuck, I'm not going to be invested in this horse. And that was the moment where I kind of thought, oh, horses are going to be more disposable, like in the first game. And then very quickly, I got very attached to horse number 2. And it was really tragic when the story kills it and you have like the moment with it before going through Arthur's finale. So rest in peace, horse number 2.
So I was going to rank the horse from Redemption underneath the golf chocobos, just solely because I'm like, I feel like a good video game horse needs a good name. But at the very end, you delivered that good name in the form of horse number 2. So for now, horse number 2, aka the horse from Red Dead Redemption, is going to go at number 1.
Horse number 2.
When I get back into the host chair, because you are so dead.
I mean, we're not going to do an episode of rank him for like a while, so
you just watch. None of you ever suggest goddamn topics, so when I can think of something that I can fuck Cozy over with, you sure as shit know I'm gonna do it.
AJ,
Hi.
what is your pick?
I had to think long and hard about this because mounts are not typically featured in games that I play a lot of, unless it's your basic horse, like in a Red Dead Redemption 2 or whatnot. So I think the favorite one that I came up with is Your Friends from Mount Your Friends. I don't know if you guys have played this game before, but they are organic and you use them as a means to travel up the tower to try and place yourself as far as you can to the height of this tower. It is a very entertaining game and fun for the whole family. Especially because you get to mount all your friends.
I'm now looking at pictures of this. We should not show pictures of this game.
You get
because he's not running the show, because I don't know how to do any of that with the layout he gave me.
Yeah, I would have accidentally shown footage from this game if I was running the show, and then I would have quickly exited out of it. Not that it would have gotten us into any trouble, but
you should play this on your charity stream. Yeah, you should play it on your charity stream, Mitch. Yeah.
If you buy it for me, I will.
Okay.
What's it available?
Okay.
PC.
So here's the deal.
On Xbox as well.
I'm not going to play it, AJ. That was a joke.
Hi.
It's only $5. You should play it.
No.
Once again, a lot of bonus points go out to you, AJ, because you brought up something that I was not expecting. However, you forgot to mention, AJ, that all of the people in Mount Your Friends are mounting on top of a silent and solemn goat.
This is true.
And I feel like
my entry to the list. My entry to the list is specifically Your Friends and not the goat from Mount Your Friends, because your friends are also animals and organic matter.
Here's the thing: like, I still think that that Your Friends are like a very good entry on this list. I don't think it's bad at all. I'm not like discarding you to the bottom of the list for not mentioning the goat, but I just feel like you should have at the very least mention the goat, because the goat is doing literally a lot of heavy lifting in this game. And I feel like not mentioning the goat is going to lose you the number 1 spot. But don't worry, you will be at the number 2 spot.
I'll take it.
All right, Mitch. What's your second pick?
Doesn't
You
really
okay
matter
there,
at this
Mitch?
point because Cozy's out to get me, and I don't appreciate it. So we're just gonna go with Dragonite from Pokemon because it's one of the few Pokemon that people are familiar with that is capable of learning both Fly and Surf, making it the ultimate travel utility Pokemon. And it's wonderful and jolly and big and squishy. And if I could, I would ride a Dragonite because Dragonite is wonderful. So Dragonite from Pokemon.
See, here's the problem.
There's no fucking problem.
I'm holding back laughter because what I'm about to say, it's going to sound like, here's Alexander Kazina trying to knock Mitch's pick off the list because he has a personal qualm with him. This is actually, this is a legitimate issue that I have with your pick, Mitch. That has nothing to do with the miniature rivalry that we've developed over the course of this episode, but I have to say it. And it's that I don't know if there's a Pokemon game, and there have been a lot of Pokemon games, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know if there's a Pokemon game where you actually see your character ride on the Dragonite. You are correct that you can teach Dragonite fly, you can teach it surf, and you can surf on it on the water, you can fly with it in the air. But even in the later games, the flying animation, it just shows a generic black bird Pokemon. It doesn't specifically show you getting on Dragonite. Am I wrong? Is there a Pokemon game where you actually get to see your character get on a Dragonite? I know there were a bunch of Pokepark games where Pikachu would physically ride around.
I don't remember how the fly or surf animations worked in Heart Gold Soul Silver. I feel like those might have, and there's always the interstitial of it'll show the Pokemon that you're going to fly or surf on. But there were limitations to it. Do you want me to modify my pick based on those very specific criteria, but still keep it to Pokemon?
Sure. You know what? I will give you this exception right here and right now. You can't do something like this on your next pick or the pick after that, but this pick right here, go for it.
Okay.
Go for it.
Latios and Latios in Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Because that introduced a very interesting mechanic where you were actually flying through the map, which had not been done in Pokemon up to that point. You actually get to see the areas below you. It introduced the wormhole mechanic that was then expanded upon in Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon, made for a very fun time with regards to that. And it made you, well, for one, it gave you a legendary Pokemon a third of the way through the game, which is unheard of in Pokemon. And it actually had you build a relationship with that Pokemon because you used it so frequently and it was so pivotal to the plot of those games specifically that I'd never used a Latios or a Latias legitimately in a Pokemon game before that. And it was a ton of fun my first playthrough, not knowing, hey, I'm going to get to a point and they're just going to give me a legendary Pokemon that is very important to the plot and the way this game works. And even if it's not in your party and you're flying to that overworld map, it's just summoned somehow because why not? Pokemon, right? But it was a ton of fun to see that realization of that animation in the games.
Well, Latias.
So I'll say this. Latios and Latias, a fantastic replacement for Dragonite. I will say, I was always a little bit annoyed that the Mega Evolution form for Latios and Latias is almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
Because what you forgot to mention is that when you go up in the air and fly around as Latios/Latias, they Mega Evolve because they need to become big enough to support your character or whatever.
They need the extra power or some bullcrap like that, yeah.
Whatever. And I always thought it was a little bit you couldn't have just made them a different shade of color. You couldn't have made Mega Latios a dark blue and Latias a dark red or whatever. But I liked both these Pokemon quite a bit as well, and I enjoyed exploring the Hoenn region, riding around on their backs. They're going to go.
I'm actually replaying Omega Ruby right now. I've never done a Nuzlocke before, but I'm doing this one just on my own to see if I can stomach it, and I can't. It's hard.
They are going to go at number 3.
I hate this. I'll be back.
Okay. Nathan, what's your next?
All right. I have to make some ground here because I've been pushed to number 4. But I think I've got a winner here.
Okay.
On Guard the Swordfish from the Donkey Kong series.
Ooh.
On Guard is one
Fancy.
of the best mounts because number one, swimming sucks in games, and he makes swimming so much better. He can also attack with his nose pointer thing and can find hidden bonus areas for you. But I think the control he gives you in the water makes him one of the best mounts ever because not only is he making it easier to attack enemies, he's making it easier just to traverse the entire environments.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new number 1 spot.
Oh shit!
On Guard, the swordfish from the Donkey Kong Country series, is an excellent animal companion in all of gaming. And yeah, what makes On Guard particularly great is just controlling him, using his elongated nose to ram into enemies is such a fantastic time in of itself. And so yeah, we have to rank On Guard high. Not saying he's going to be at number 1 forever, but right now, right here, in this moment, in this second, On Guard is number 1. Alex, what's your name?
All right. I am debating between 2, but I think just from sheer coolness alone.
Hold on. I just realized something. Nathan's been gone for a while.
Mitch?
Are we taking any... Sorry, my apologies, Mitch. Are we taking bets that when he comes back, he's going to be wearing like a cowboy hat or like some kind of costume, and he's going to be riffing off of my whole Drugstore Pete bit from the other day?
I think he's just pooping.
Yeah. I don't think we should give Mitch that much credit.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I think we need to be prepared. All right, go ahead, Alex.
All right, my expectations have been set. So I'm going to choose one that came from a DLC amount that came from a specific DLC that was very, very cool. And it's riding dragons in Skyrim from the Dragonborn DLC. So the fact that you can tame dragons was one thing that was missing from the base game of Skyrim. If you're supposed to be the Dragonborn, you should be able to ride a dragon. And, you know, there's a story moment in Skyrim where you kind of can do it, but it's like it's not like implemented in the gameplay. And that's, you know, that was a real missed opportunity. And they rectified it with this DLC where you can tame any of the dragons that as long as they don't have names, because like obviously you can't tame Alduin or anything, but it's still very, very cool to be able to ride on a dragon from Skyrim, and just like allows you to get a clear view of the vista and be able to just really get to take in the world of Skyrim from a whole new perspective that we didn't get beforehand. So I think the dragons from Skyrim were a very great addition and should be considered highly.
So like I remember when this specific DLC came out, but I remember the discourse at the time being, and if I'm wrong on this, you can feel free to correct me, that the dragon riding was almost more of a glorified cutscene, that you weren't actually like able to just roam around the land on them freely, that it was more like, hey, you're flying in the air, you're on a dragon, it's like fast travel, but you've got a big scaly beast underneath you. Am I mistaken on that?
Yeah, it's not, at least with the base game, there are mods that do rectify that, which I feel like should be considered, that they kind of, it takes the dragon and changes it more into like, to like what you would get from like a horse mount in the game, but still, you know, while flying. And so that was mostly what I was talking about, was because of the Dragonborn deal, which I probably should have clarified, that it's like modded Skyrim along with what came from this DLC. So if you can consider that how you will.
See, I feel like you should have mentioned earlier that this is modded content. Not that there's anything wrong or illegitimate about modded content, but I was a little confused for a second there, because I'm like, I remember the Dragon DLC stuff not being remembered super well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that, you know, you're not wrong with that. I probably should have mentioned that beforehand. It wasn't really until you mentioned it that I was like, oh yeah, that's what it was like in the base game, like with the base DLC, and not like the modded on stuff. So that was a bit of an error on my part.
I'm going to put it at the number 6 spot, underneath Golf Chocobos and above Yoshi. But as a reminder,
she is criminally underrated on this list. Holy shit.
As a reminder, you can always argue for something again in round 2. All right, AJ.
He's
You're
just
up.
done. He's just leaving again.
Okay. I'm gonna go with a cute little hamster named Rick from the Kirby series. First appeared in Kirby's Dream Land 2, I believe. And he, you know, you would ride on him, and you would be able to get across some like rough terrain and stuff like that, make it a little easier to do that. He would get traction on slippery surfaces. All that fun stuff. Plus, it's Kirby riding a cute little hamster. Who'd have thunk? It kind of makes you think that maybe Kirby isn't actually that big of a character if he can if he can mount a hamster. That's kind of eye-opening in itself. The existence of Rick.
There are a lot of like weird Nintendo characters like that, like Olimar and Louie, where in their games you can tell that they're not necessarily super big, but when you kind of like compare them proportionally to the stuff in the environment, you're like, oh man, these guys are like as big as batteries, if not fat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. I don't dislike Rick. I don't think he's a bad character, but I just feel like there are other video game mounts that like do everything that you're describing and more. And so this isn't like an I hate
but they're not a cute hamster. They're not a cute hamster being ridden by Kirby. That is a big factor. No other mount is a cute hamster that Kirby can ride.
But you know what's better than a hamster, AJ?
What?
A dinosaur, which is why Rick is going at number 8 below Yoshi.
Rude.
Finally!
Hey, just remember, you have an opportunity to make Yoshi climb.
I have a really good case for Yoshi. It's going to be fun.
All
Very
right.
excited.
Unfortunately, Mitch, you're going to have to hold off on making that case because we have returned to you, and you have to make your number 3 pick.
Okay. I need one clarification before I do. You said living creature, correct?
Yeah, like I said, in the pre-viz for the show, like you can make a case for something if it is a little bit more on the fringe, but I am ultimately the deciding factor on whether or not it ends up on the list.
Okay. Well, these are sentient creatures whom the main characters of the game do mount. Said sentient creatures can also combine together and form one big mega creature. And I'm talking about the Dinozords and the Megazord in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the game on the SNES. Because goddammit, those dinosaurs are alive. They have their own sentience. They can move around at their own free will. And they're giant fucking robots, which is really goddamn cool. And they turn into an even bigger robot, and that's even cooler. So the Megazord is going on the goddamn list.
So here's the thing. I'm going to allow it. And my argument being that the reason why I said at the top that this is specifically biological, like animal-like video game mounts is that like I specifically wanted to avoid talking about vehicles. And when I think about the
dinosaurs are almost, animals.
When I think about Megazords, the word vehicle does not immediately come to mind. So even though it is a little bit on the fringe, ultimately it's keeping in with the spirit of what this list is supposed to be. So it stays on the list.
Giant robots.
The thing is, Mitch, though, these are characters that didn't originate in a video game. They originated in a Japanese TV show that was then adapted into an American TV show that was then made into a video game. And I'm not
art
discounting
imitates art. It's fine.
I'm not discounting the coolness of the Megazords. Don't worry, I'm not about to put them at like number 9 or anything like that. I'm just saying like it would feel unfair to put them above some of the characters on the list that are
not? Put them wherever you want to put them. Follow your heart. Let your heart be your guiding key, Cozy.
I'm going to put them at number 5. And my argument being that like
whatever.
in this weird internal logic in my head, it feels unfair to put golf chocobos above it, considering that chocobos come from another video game franchise.
Okay.
So, yeah. Megazords are going to go at number 5, below Megalodios Latios, but above golf chocobos.
How are either of those below the friends from Mount Your Friends? The other two I can understand. Well, actually, I can't understand the top spot. I have my qualms about the top spot when we get to it, but
you're currently at number 1 in terms of points.
Because I'm the only one with three characters on the list.
Nathan, what's your third pick?
I hate this game.
Cozy, have you played Persona 5?
It's one of those like bucket list.
That's a good one.
I feel like I've gotten like. Oh, by the way, as I'm talking through my explanation of where I'm at with Persona 5, I realize what you're about to say. So
it's a good one.
If anybody here cares about light Persona spoilers, you might want to cover your ears. I'm okay because I'm pretty sure I know what you're about to talk about, and I don't consider it a huge spoiler. Go ahead.
So I had 2 options from Persona 5 that I could bring up. I think I'm going to stick with Morgana in her cat bus form.
What's the other one? Am I stupid?
I thought about it and I didn't go with it. Johanna, because technically she's a motorcycle, but she's a persona.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah, you're right.
So you don't ride her, but every animation, Makoto's on, like, mounted on the persona. So, but yeah, no, we're going to go with Morgana, the cat bus that allows you to explore the depths of mementos, and it can ram creatures that are down there. And you actually, if you have the right ability hooked up, you don't even have to fight them. They'll just get an experience points if you're high enough.
Yeah,
and you can just run around mementos, smashing them with the bus. It is also a play on My Neighbor Totoro, which is another cat which can turn into a bus.
Right. You know what?
So,
for you alone, bringing up the fact that it's a reference to My Neighbor Totoro, which is something that I never previously like put the dots together on that. I feel like I need to give your pick a highish ranking. That being said, I can't rank it as high as number 1 spot because On Guard is almost flawless, and also I don't feel like I can rank it at number 2 because Horse Number 2 is just a fantastic name. Mount Your Friends also real original, so I'm gonna have to rank it at number 4, below Mount Your Friends, and above Megalodios Latios. Hey, Alex, what's your third pick?
I want to ask a clarifying question of this. Does this even count as a mount before I say it? What do Titans from Titanfall? How do those fall for you? Because I've got other ones. If like you're thinking like that doesn't really count.
See, I feel like I kind of opened Pandora's box by allowing the Megazords to be on this list. I was definitely more partial towards the Megazords because they are initially animals or animal-like. Okay. Prior to becoming wait a minute. Okay, so you can clearly tell I'm not a huge Power Ranger fan. They are called Zords when they're in their animal form, correct?
Yes.
Yes. And then they become a Megazord when they combine, correct?
Yes.
Right. What I meant to say earlier is that before they combine and become the Megazord, when they're just Zords, they're much more animal-like. Comparatively, BT from Titanfall 2 and all the other Titans from the Titanfall series are not very animal-like. And so I'm afraid that I'm going to have to decline this one for now. At some point in the future, we will do a ranking where we are ranking the best, like, pure mechanical
or
video game
companions.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, that's perfectly fine. I just thought I would ask before I threw it out and got completely shit on for it. If that's the case, then I'm choosing between. There's 2 different characters or 2 different mounts that I'm thinking of. I'm just gonna bite the bullet. I'm gonna say the horse from Shadow of the Colossus. It's another horse that you grow, that you get very close to, that you form a very deep connection to. Spoilers for Shadow of the Colossus as well, I guess.
Oh my god, dude.
I didn't know that he didn't play it. Yeah, the horse dies, and it's very, very sad, and it was very surprising when it happened because it was just it came out of, it was surprising because it wasn't, you just didn't see it coming from where it happens in the game, and I thought it was a very impactful moment that made you then really feel alone in this huge world. You're good. So horse from Shadow of the Colossus, very good horse. You get to form a really tight bond with it. And it's your only companion.
List.
It's your only companion during this very lonely time.
7 out of 10, too many horses.
Without looking at it on Wikipedia or Googling it, do you know the horse's name off the bat?
I know the horse's name.
I unfortunately do not remember the horse's name.
Ooh.
Yeah, I probably should have Googled that.
Can I tell you the horse's name?
No.
Yeah, I can just go for it.
Argo.
Argo,
and it's actually a bullshit horse. The controls on that horse are bullshit.
Hey, its actual name is, I looked this up while Alex was talking, it's actually Agro, A-G-R-O.
Oh, Agro, sorry.
Oh, okay.
It's fine.
You almost stole Alex's points there, but you said it wrong.
Like, here's the thing. Like, Agro is a video game character that a lot of people actually have, like, a very deep and intimate connection to. I believe that the... what's the name of the director behind the Team Eco games?
Japanese name.
Yeah.
Fumito Ueda.
Fumito Ueda, right?
That's it. Yeah, I'm reading off of Google.
I think, like,
Japanese name.
I'm pretty sure that Japanese name said in an interview at one point that, like, he was inspired to make The Last Guardian because, like, he went into Shadow of the Colossus expecting that people wouldn't think twice about aggro, and instead people came out of that game being like, oh man, I have a real personal connection to this horse. And so he's like, all right, I'm going to make a game that is entirely about your character and his animal companion. So, like, I feel like I do need to state the kind of significance and importance of aggro as a character. That being said, I don't feel like your argument for aggro was all that great, Alex.
Oh, so, interesting. Okay.
I mean, 90% because you didn't even know what his name was, but you know, that's just how the fall. I'm gonna put him above Rick from Kirby, but below Yoshi.
Yeah. Really? Should have went with my other pick. I actually knew that horse's name.
Yeah.
What is with all the horses?
You'll have to wait until.
Well, we didn't have a lot to go with mounted. It has to be alive.
You go with the Megazord or the dinosaur. I mean, I have dinosaurs in all of mine. I just kind of realized that.
We've got a swordfish, friends, a cat bus.
That swordfish is going down.
What? There's two horses on here. Yeah, there's literally
for now. Dragons. For now, AJ's going to bring like 3 more at least.
He has one more pick.
I was going to say, like, a few years from now, we'll just do another best video game mounts ranking discussion topic. So keep it in your head for when we eventually do that again.
That'll never
AJ.
happen.
Hi.
You never know, Mitch. You might be your way of getting revenge on me. You'll be like, hey, let's do the best video game mounts, and it will have been 3 years, so I'll have forgotten about it, and you'll use that as a means to screw me over. You thought about that?
I am now.
Yeah, Mitch. You think about that, Mitch? You think about that? Huh?
AJ, just do the thing with the thing.
Yeah, AJ.
All right. Listen, we've all danced around it, but we need to add one more horse to this list.
No more horses.
And that's Epona from The Legend of Zelda. Originally in Ocarina of Time, Epona, you meet as a baby horse, and she becomes your way to escape. The only way to escape the ranch when you get locked in and trapped inside, and she can jump over the edge. And then also, in the future, 7 years later, she remembers you. She is your horse. Epona is your horse. Then as time, as games go on and whatnot, even in Ocarina, where you get to ride on top of her, she has to jump over the bridge as an adult. That part I just remembered. That part's amazing. But when you get to something like Twilight Princess, and she's there with you from the start to the very end, pretty much, especially in the final battle in Twilight Princess, that moment, absolutely phenomenal, and all because Epona is there, and she's the one consistent. But then you get to Breath of the Wild, and you can have any other horse you want, or with the right amiibo, you can bring the real Epona into Breath of the Wild. She's just so completely versatile and wonderful. Epona is great.
See, here's the thing. Going into this list, in my mind, Yoshi and Epona were more or less equal in terms of ranking. But I really respect the fact, AJ, that you didn't immediately lead with Epona. You presented some more interesting choices first, and then you pulled out your Epona card when nobody was expecting it. I thought we were gonna. I was briefly of the belief that we were going to go this entire first round without any mention of Epona. So I do want to give you credit in that regard. And, you make a good point, which is that gamers have shared a lot of pleasant memories alongside Epona. So I think just because I think that this character that is going to rank above it is an example of a video game mount that controls a little bit better, I'm going to have to put it underneath Mega Latios and Latias at number 6.
Wow.
Sure.
All right. So before we head into round 2, let's recap. At number 12, we have Rick from the Kirby series as this. I was going to say as voted on by AJ, but I guess suggested is a better way of putting it.
Yeah.
Or just by AJ.
Just suggested by.
Or from.
Yeah. From AJ. Yeah, there we go. From. At number 11, we have Aggro from Alex. At number 10, we have Yoshi from Mitch. At number 9, we have Elder Scrolls modded Dragon Mounts from Alex. At number 8, we have Chocobos from Everybody's Golf from Nathan. Number 7, we have the Megazords from Mitch. At number 6, we have Epona from AJ. At number 5, we have Mega Latios and Mega Latias from Mitch. At number 4, we have Morgana from Nathan. Number 3, we have the Friends from Mount Your Friends from AJ. At number 2, we have the horse from Red Dead Redemption 2 from Alex, who named his second horse number 2. And at number 1, we have On Guard from the Donkey Kong Country Saga. Are we ready to head into round 2 from Nathan? Are we ready to head into round 2?
Do it.
Yep.
Mitch, I haven't heard you express your approval.
I don't care.
All right, then.
Mitch, you're in second place.
I was
Cheer
to
up.
say, he's in second place. What's his problem?
Yeah, I don't really get it.
Yoshi's at
wiener.
10!
You know what?
Wiener.
I was going to give you an opportunity to go first again. Because of that sourpuss attitude, I'm going to flip it up. AJ, you go first.
Hi.
Which game that you initially suggested deserves to go higher than another game on this list? Than another mount on this list.
I think Rick from Kirby listen. The golf chocobos, he didn't specifically say the chocobo from Final Fantasy. He said the golf chocobo. The golf chocobos are just a glorified golf cart. That's all they are. Rick from Kirby
Golf carts don't fly.
Rick from Kirby is versatile. And with all the things that I mentioned previously, with with being able to cross the rough terrain and whatnot, it just, plus he's a cute hamster, and the golf chocobos, it's just a golf cart. It's just a stupid golf cart.
You know what? You said one key word in there, AJ, and it was versatile. Mm-hmm. Earlier, I criticized the fact that Rick, does some actions that, other video game mounts already do and more. But you are right. Compared to the golf chocobos, Rick is undoubtedly more versatile. So I'm afraid, Nathan,
Is there a review section? Don't we get to argue back?
That's a good point. It's been
it's Cozy's game.
I will say that it has been a little while since we've done a game of Rankin, so my memory is a little bit on the hazy side, and so you will have to accept my apology in not considering that before going into this. You know what? I'll take a very quick rebuttal if you have one.
The golf chobacos are more than golf carts because they are actual living, cute little animals that you can ride around the golf course, and they flutter, and they are versatile, and they do change the way you can maneuver around that golf course, as well as finding collectibles on it and currency. So it actually does have quite a bit of a purpose there, and they're more than a golf cart. He keeps saying they're a golf cart. They're not. They are little animals, birds that you can ride around the entire golf course.
They've replaced a golf cart.
Nathan, you said that they changed the way that you maneuver the golf course. Can you expand on that?
Well, because the golf course carts, you just drive around the golf carts. With the Chobaco, because you can flutter and fly, you can actually reach areas that you couldn't reach before with them because you can float over the golf course with it.
And these secret items that you can find, are these like something that normally existed in the game before the Chocobos, or were these introduced because of the Chocobos?
I think they were there beforehand, just nobody could get to them. It was like weird currency, or every once in a while you can find a new cosmetic item that you can wear.
Okay.
I apologize for interjecting, but the long face I've had for the last minute and a half kind of goes back to the GameStop thing we were talking about. A friend of ours, Jordan Deeb, put out a tweet basically saying GameStop sitting amongst Tesla and these folks is a Fortune 500 company, and it's a picture of Big Bird in an office, and it has almost 500,000 likes on Twitter.
Wow.
So,
congratulations, Deeb.
Please continue. I apologize, but that had to get shouted out.
That's okay. It's totally fine. See, here's the thing. You made a real good counter argument, Nathan. AJ, you argued real good for Rick from Kirby. I do think that he is a better character than I feel like I'm making him out to be, putting him this on the list, but I'm afraid that he's going to have to stay at the number 12 spot for the time being. All right, Alex.
Mm-hmm. Let me take a look at the list and see what... I don't know if there's anything I can really do to win. Yeah. I'm trying to think what's the better option. I mean, probably getting points on aggro.
I mean, there is still round 3, don't forget.
That is also very true.
So just go for them points, baby.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna choose aggro.
Okay.
From Shadow of the Colossus, and I'm gonna have it go against the Mount Your Friends friends. The main reason why I'm gonna say it, as somebody who has played Mount Your Friends, there's no, mounting your friends doesn't really, yeah, you're building up the tower, but what's the best part about a mount is that you get to ride your mount to locations. It speeds up travel. You're not going anywhere in Mount Your Friends. You're building upwards, eventually falling. So it kind of defeats the whole purpose of a mount in video games, where aggro, which I might be saying the name wrong. Please do not detract points based on that, because
it's fine.
But in Shadow of the Colossus, the world is huge, especially for a PS2 game. The world was quite big, and so you needed your companion horse to be able to traverse this world and go against these giant colossi. Then you wouldn't have been able to have succeeded without your horse. And yeah, I guess you wouldn't be able to succeed the objective of Mount Your Friends, but I just think that calling your friends mounts is it's a very loose definition of the term, where I think we should have the top of our list really reflect what a proper mount in video games is.
AJ, do you have any counter argument?
Yeah, maybe your friends are loose, but the friends in Mount Your Friends have the hardest, tightest bodies. I don't know if you noticed that. I do understand what you're saying in the spirit of, but then we also should probably, consider getting rid of the Megazords as well.
You shut your damn mouth.
Get rid of the Elder Scrolls Dragons because it's from mods in a DLC. It's not necessarily in the base game or whatever. Like all these different caveats. The game is literally titled "Mount Your Friends." You are mounting them, and they are a means to travel upward to the top of the tower. That is their purpose.
You make fair arguments, AJ, but I think in this case, I'm actually going to have to give it to Alex. And
Rude.
Alex's argument actually kind of made me come to a realization, which is that the friends in Mount Your Friends, after they're done, making their own individual climbs up the tower, are the only characters on this list that don't move at all while you're mounting them. Every other character, the Megazord and the Zords move, the Golf Chocobos move, the Dragons move, even if it is largely in cutscenes in the original game in which they appear. Yoshi moves. The Mount Your friends don't really move a whole lot. And so I feel like for that reason and everything else that Alex said, I am going to have to move them down just a scotch to make room for aggro.
Yeah.
All right, Nathan? What you think?
What do I got to do here? I'm just waiting to see the scoreboard when it's fixed.
Don't try to game it. Just go with your heart.
Okay, so I think there's only one move that makes sense here, and it's moving Morgana up above Mount Your Friends. I think Morgana as a character is much better. Does Morgana have gender?
Morgana is a boy. They make that joke at some point that it's kind of ill-defined.
But yeah, so Morgana as a character is just a really good character, but not only is it a really good character, really good fighter, it also lets you ride it around like dungeon underneath the subways and fight crazy monsters. And I think in terms of where that's sitting, I think that should be above Mount Your Friends, as we discussed, because there is no movement from the Mount Your Friends.
So wait, hold on. Are you arguing Morgana for above the Mount Your Friends or the RDR2 horse? Because I feel
the Mount Your Friends.
Okay, sorry. In my head, I was listening to your argument. I'm like, wait, I don't know if I heard exactly who it should be above. I mean, like, here's the thing. Again, I agree. The Mount Your Friends don't move, Nathan. But I feel like when I think back to Alex's argument that allowed aggro to move back up to the top of this list, I feel like Alex really put in the work there with his argument. Nathan, I feel like you did not make enough of an argument, but let's see what AJ has to say.
Well, I just had to Google Morgana because I wasn't sure what Morgana looked like.
You're Google
and what came up. Maybe I have to play League of Legends now because Morgana in League of Legends, meow. This is like some Resident Evil 8 looking character here, but that's not the one that's on the list. But that's what came up when I Googled Morgana. The first thing that came up. Anyway, my actual rebuttal is I don't think you should allow rebuttals that are just the same argument that somebody else previously made. That's lazy.
But that wasn't much of a rebuttal itself.
Yeah, his rebuttal was piss poor.
I did say it was a better character than Mount Your Friends, and Alex did not say that. I finalized it with the same thing, but I started off completely different than what Alex started.
The characters in Mount Your Friends are literally you and your friends. You can swap the faces, you can do whatever you want, you can have the dangly bits stop spinning if you're into that. Whatever you want.
I'm gonna fly something by you guys. Both of these characters are at 2 points, being at number 4 and number 5 on this list. Would you be down for me swapping your ownership of each of them? So Nathan can end up with the Mount Your Friend's friends, and AJ can end up with Morgana as a way of resolving our little dispute.
No.
Or we could just leave them where they are.
I'm okay with
I'm
that.
fine with that.
If we're fine with
I'm
just...
less okay with that.
You're
Oh,
less
of
okay
course you
with
are.
that.
I have no opinion.
Nathan, you're less okay with what?
With leaving it as it
Not
is.
switching. Like, if we're just talking about switching names, it puts my spot a bit higher so that if something shifts down, Morgana doesn't go to 1 point.
You know, I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I was hoping that the two of you would be more enthusiastic about my random and unexpected suggestion, but both of you were kind of...
I was fine with it.
I was not okay with that.
Well,
leave it where the if the points aren't going to change, just leave it where it is. I also know nothing about Morgana, so I know a lot about your friends.
All right then, Mitch.
What do you know about Cozy's friends?
Exactly.
We're his friends, I think. I hope we can be friends after this, Cozy. Okay.
Mitch.
Yes, sir.
Go for it.
Okay. The fact that Yoshi right now is not in our top 10 is an egregious mistake that I look to correct here by arguing why Yoshi is a better video game mount than On Guard from the Donkey Kong Country series.
Going
Go
strong.
for the Hail Mary. Yeah, you got
Go
it.
big or go home, right? I mean, we're all already home, but AJ's at GameStop or EB Games, but the rest of us are at home. Yoshi is the most iconic video game mount in history. The character has a built-in saddle. The grandfather of all modern video games, Shigeru Miyamoto, wanted from the beginning for Mario to have a dinosaur mount. So much so that he wrote backstory for Yoshi that had protected Mario as an infant. Like, that kind of juxtaposition doesn't happen with On Guard, because On Guard is just a swordfish in a game. And you know what? I look at this piece of merchandise that I have in my hand. I see Donkey Kong, of course. I see Diddy Kong. I see Yoshi. Because Yoshi is one of the most iconic video game characters in history and absolutely deserves to be higher on this list. You know who isn't on a fucking mug? On Guard.
Here's the thing. You know what? Actually, let me reserve my thoughts for a second. Nathan, if you have a rebuttal, now's the time to say it.
Yeah, I think we can argue about the importance in the video game industry about what makes a better mount. And we're talking about what the best mounts are right now. And the way that On Guard makes your life better when you're in the water playing Donkey Kong makes it a superior mount to Yoshi. Yoshi
does
can
the
ride around,
same
you
thing.
can spit things out.
He
It
can
does
jump on
give
things
you-
that
but
he can jump on things Mario
maneuverability
can't
you
jump
get-
on.
Have you tried swimming with Yoshi underwater? It's not fun.
Mario was
Swimming with
the
Yoshi
games
sucks.
where Mario the games where Yoshi is a mount is not a game where Mario goes underwater.
I'm just
So-
saying you can go underwater. He swims terribly when he gets in the water.
Well, yeah, but how is On Guard on land? It's the exact same goddamn argument the other way around.
Except being on land is not a problem to begin with. Being in the water sucks, and it makes not being in the water
Yoshi makes your life
way, way
better when on land.
It's
He can jump
quality
on
of
things
life
that
improvement that
Mario
Yoshi does
can't
not
jump
grant
on.
land.
Yoshi needs to be on this list, Cozy. If you're not going to take my advice and put it at number 1 where it deserves to be, at least put it somewhere.
The thing is that, you know, Nathan made a good point, which is that controlling Mario on the ground was already like perfectly fine, even without Yoshi. And Yoshi just made, you know, exploring the ground slightly better.
Oh no, it made one of the best games of all time better. Oh no. Donkey Kong Country sucks.
Made, you know, controlling yourself underwater, which in many games kind of sucks, into a really pleasurable experience.
That's not true. Echo the Dolphin is phenomenal.
This is true.
I don't know, to be honest. I played that game when it came out as part of like the Sonic and Sega Ultimate Genesis collection, and I was kind of so on it, to be perfectly honest. But we're not arguing about that dolphin right here, right now. Mitch, if you had picked like literally any other character on this list, if you had kicked the horse from Red Dead Redemption 2,
then put it above the horse. It's fine.
But you didn't argue for that. You didn't argue for that. You argued he is better than On Guard. You did not argue for him.
He is, because On Guard is not a memorable mount. Yoshi's on fucking mugs.
I'm pretty
T-shirts, bibs. Fuck. I Googled it. There are no On Guard mugs. I Googled that shit.
I'm pretty sure that somebody has made like an On Guard mug on Etsy.
I'm telling you, Cozy.
I'll have
This
my
is a
wife
mistake.
make one.
This is a mistake.
I'm
Don't
afraid
do this to
The
yourself.
mistake was not picking
Your
the
list
right
is
thing to
going
put
to-
it against Mitch.
Twitter
I'm
is going to
afraid-
hate your list. They are going to hate it.
I'm afraid that the list is going to have to stay as is. So that's at number 12, Rick from Kirby from AJ. Number 11, Yoshi from Mitch. At number 10, the Modded Dragons from Elder Scrolls by Alex. At number 9.
Seeing as Mitch is being a poor sport, can we just switch Rick and Yoshi just to when he comes back and he sees it? It's for no points. It's for no points.
Are you okay with that, AJ?
Yeah, just switch. Yeah. So
right.
yeah, just do that.
All right.
Perfect.
Number 12, Yoshi from Mitch. Number 11, Rick from Kirby by AJ. Number 10, the Modded Dragons from Elder Scrolls by Alex. Number 9, the Golf Chocobos by Nathan. Number 8, Megazords by Mitch. Number 7, Epona by AJ. Number 6, Mega Latias and Latias by Mitch. Number 5, Morgana by Nathan. Number 4, the Mount Your Friends by AJ. Number 3, Aggro by Alex. Number 2, the Red Dead Redemption 2 horse by Alex, who named horse number 2. And number 1, On Guard by Nathan. And they don't tell you that hosting 5x5 is really tiring.
Yeah, it is.
But the show must go on. I'm going to switch things up yet again. Alex.
Yes.
I want you to pick a number between 1 and 11.
I will go with number 7.
All right, then. I want you to tell me why Rhyhorn from Pokemon X and Y, where Rhyhorn is a rideable Pokemon, is a worthy contender for this list.
1 second. I've played this game. Oh, I remember Rhyhorn.
I was going to say, I will give you an exception in this case and let you Google it. I'm not going to have any qualms.
Yeah, I did play this game.
All right.
I don't remember riding him.
Okay.
I mean, Pokemon, from the get-go, you always kind of thought like Pokemon would be a great pet. And when you have a pet that's big enough to ride, why wouldn't you want to do that? And it was a limitation of the technology of like the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance that like you rode them when you could give them moves like surf and fly, but you never really got to see it. And so if I'm remembering Pokemon X and Y correctly, you actually do get to see your character ride the Rhyhorn. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, and that was, that's a big deal because it's something that was lacking in a lot of Pokemon games before this. And with the 3DS being a bit more powerful, it allowed Game Freak to actually be able to do that. And it's this moment that just kind of like it's a moment that is something that people really wanted and finally got delivered on in the way that the way that people wanted it to be. And I thought that's no small feat.
I feel like I can in good faith like put it above Mega Latios or Latias just because they control so much better. But you made a very fair argument, which is that it had been a very long time where we had gone with a Pokemon game where you were able to just ride around and mount on a Pokemon. Like we had, been able to surf on Pokemon in the past, but usually in those instances, your Pokemon was represented by like a black silhouette in the water. So I'm going to have to put Rhyhorn at number 7.
I'll take it. That's better than I thought I was going to do with that. So.
All right, Nathan, pick a number between 1 and 10.
1 and 10. Let's go with lucky number 7.
Okay. Your decision to go at number 7 has bequeathed to you Rambi the Rhinoceros from Donkey Kong Country.
So Rambi is a great little mount. You can get on him. He can plow through enemies. If you've got streams of enemies, he can just keep plowing them. really hard as he continues to force his way through. He's very fun to ride on. He can mount two people because you can have two characters riding him at the same time. A menage a trois, if you will. So yeah, no, Rambi, definitely a good mount. Not quite as good as On Guard, but very, very good.
Yeah, I feel like you could have gone a little bit further in terms of discussing the majesty that is Rambi the Rhino. And for that reason, I don't feel like I can put him as high as I wanted him to be. You know what? I'm going to put him underneath Morgana, but above Mega Latias. Just because, like, I feel like what Morgana, like, in addition to being a mount, Morgana is also this character that, offers so much more to the experience in that. And I feel like maybe if you could have taken a different perspective in your argument in favor of Rambi the Rhino, I would have been like, I can see an argument for why it deserves to be above him/her. But for the time being, it's going to have to be at number 6. All right, Mitch, are we still there?
I have come to a realization.
Oh, no.
This list is 100% rigged. Because you
Really?
yourself just stated that you wanted Rambi to rank higher but could not do so because of what Nathan said. So you've been putting these games or these characters where you want them to be, as opposed to listening to the arguments as they are made. Yoshi deserves to be number 1, and I don't care.
Yoshi's number 14.
But
sorry,
I mean, whenever any of
Mitch's turn away.
Whenever we host any of these games of ranking, we all have characters.
I vacate my turn.
Like,
I vacate
Mitch,
my turn.
Can you just let me
protest.
speak?
I think the fact that he said that he didn't put it as high means it's not rigged, because he wanted to put it higher. He couldn't.
Like,
whenever he's making clear there is an inherent bias to where he's putting things on this list. So I am vacating my turn in protest.
Is there a way for us to mute Mitch?
Protest.
He's
you can't mute me. I'm running the show. Do I want to mute? You know what? Do I want to mute all of them so you can only hear me? Because that's exactly what you deserve to hear right now. Because this is an absolutely rigged scenario. None of them they can't hear any of you right now. This is all mine now. It's mine. It's rigged. It's rigged. You're back. Oh yeah, the audio podcast will get all of that. That's great.
Oh yeah, I ain't cutting that shit out.
Mitch, I'm still going to give you an opportunity to choose a number between 1 and 10.
Your
if you so
butt.
choose. Mitch,
got him.
Just choose a number.
That's number 8. There's 8 letters.
I'll give Mitch one last shot. If not, I will default to 8.
mean, I said your butt, and what comes out of butt is number 2. So give me number 2.
Oh, that's, you know what? I'll give you I'll give you credit. That's pretty good. You'll get some bonus points depending on how well you craft your answer. Number 2 is, and I want to mention for the record, all of the various mounts that I came up with are not Donkey Kong countries. However, nevertheless, the character that you chose is Espresso the Ostrich from Donkey Kong Country.
I vacate my turn in protest.
Okay. Cozy, where should that go on the list?
Mitch, do you want me to give you an animal that is not from Donkey Kong Country?
Protest!
Mitch, do you want me to give you something that is still a biological creature, but that is not an animal, and that is also not from Donkey Kong Country?
No.
Okay. Just keep going. Let's just keep the show going. How about that?
I want to be as fair and unbiased as possible, and I feel like Mitch is turning on.
You've extended the olive branch, and he just.
All right, let's.
He just.
Yeah.
AJ, I'll come back to Mitch at the very end. AJ, pick a number between 1 and 9.
Let's go with number 5.
All right, number 5 is Dimitri from the Legend of Zelda Oracle games. So
Man,
Dimitri, for those of you who are unfamiliar with him, is a Dodongo, but unlike most of the other Dodongos in the Legend of Zelda series that hate smoke and generally are enemies to Rick, Dimitri is actually a helpful character. Basically, he can talk and he allows you to swim up waterfalls and against currents, which can allow you to get into kind of certain places within the game that you otherwise would not be able to access. And he can also attack enemies by biting them.
Mm-hmm. Great. I think you just made my argument for me there.
No, you have to still make an argument. I was saying that
okay.
for the audience that might not be familiar with the Oracle games because it's been a while.
Fair enough. I think Dimitri is a much cuter dinosaur than Yoshi is. Just look at his little teethies and his little face there. Oh my goodness. He can swim, which is really neat. It's like Surf from Pokemon. He can swim. You ride on him and he can swim. He looks very friendly, and I don't know. And he's missing a horn. That means somebody hurt him. He needs the sympathy vote. Poor little guy.
Here's the thing. If I put him above Yoshi, but just above Yoshi, he's still going to have 0 points. Are you okay with that, AJ? Or do you want to go for points?
I mean, if you put him under Epona, it would still get a point.
All right, fair enough. He's going to go under Epona. Mitch, I'm going to give you one last chance. Do you want to make a quick argument for a character that I will give you that I think is a fair character that will give you a lot to talk about, or do you want to skip?
Try me.
All right. The Cyclopses from God of War.
I have nothing to say.
All right. The Cyclopses are going to have to go at number 16. I would have, if I had been given this character, I would have said, the Cyclopses are these big, powerful, intimidating brutes, and they instill fear into your heart. And as a result, being able to wound them and being able to mount them, it really kind of shows, it's a great kind of moment of affirming your power and skill as a player, in addition to also being pretty fun and allowing you to rack up some damage against your enemies. But I'm afraid that argument is going to have to be made in full on another date. All right.
I think I would have had a better argument for the better Cyclops-like creature in video games, and that's the Graug? I remember if I got that right. The Graug in Lord of the Rings: Shadow of Mordor, where this game lets you telepathically control these giant brutes, and you start to feel like a badass coming through the battlefield and swiping out all the other orcs and things, but really made you feel cool.
From God of War, I almost said Pegasus.
Pegasus would have been a good one too.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Pegasus. Anyways,
Roach didn't make the list as well from Witcher.
Mitch, you'll have to figure out how to screw me over with Pegasus when we do rank him in the future, because we have reached the end of this episode of Press YYZ and the end of this particular episode of Rank Him. The list as it stands is number 16, Cyclopses. Number 15, Yoshi by Mitch. Number 14, Rick from Kirby by AJ. Number 13, The Elder Scrolls Modded Dragons by Alex. Number 12, The Golf Chocobos by Nathan. Number 11, The Megazords/Zords by Mitch. Number 10, Dimitri by AJ. Number 9, Epona by AJ. Number 8, Rhyhorn by Alex. Number 7, Megaladios and Latios by Mitch. Number 6, Randy by Nathan. Number 5, Morgana by Nathan. Number 4, Mount Your Friends by AJ. Number 3, Aggro by Alex. Number 2, The Red Dead Redemption 2 Horse by Alex. And number 1, On Guard by Nathan. The overall winner of the game with 6 points is Nathan, with Alex coming in at number 5, AJ with 4, and Mitch with 1.
Good job, Nathan.
Thank you to everybody for tuning in.
It's been a while.
If you enjoyed what you just heard, be sure to click that subscribe button on YouTube, check us out on Twitch, rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, and come hang out with us on Discord, and follow us on our Twitter account at Press YYZ, which will keep you up to date on when we go live and post new episodes. Of course, you can find everybody else on social media. You can find myself on Twitter at Alex Kazina and on Twitch at twitch.tv/CuzBeerLive. I've been doing a lot of cooking over on that channel, and it's going to be even better going forward. So please tune in if you like watching people cook. Alex, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at blatantlyalex and Twitter at blatantly_Alex.
Nathan, where can they find you?
You can find me at _NMAC on Twitter and Instagram.
Mitch, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch at Mr. Mitch George. A reminder that on the 30th, I'll be doing a 12-hour stream that will now have a segment of it where I rank the best video game mounts, because this list is a travesty.
Yeah, his list is going to be better because it's going to have blackjack and hookers.
Also, you know what? Just forget the mounts. We're just going to play blackjack and clubhouse games.
Is there
AJ.
cocaine in it?
Not in clubhouse games.
AJ, where can they find you on the socials?
You can find me all over the internet at @TimesHero, capital T, capital H.
All right. Until next time, thank you for playing.
We're not the bubble guys. We're the needle.